With this, I make the forum open for question and answers. And for making the forum open for question and answers, like we have already received some questions from the participants. So I'll read those questions, like who has sent that question and for which particular panelist that question is. Before we start that, I would just like to inform you that Ms. Sheetal has left because they have another climate reality leadership corps training program which is starting now. So she'll not be able to answer the questions like participants who have asked her the question. So I'll start with the questions for other panelists. And the first question is from Mr. Akash Barua. And this question is for our panelist, Ms. Kamini Singh. Akash Barua wants to know how climate change affects the migrant workers. And the question is for Kamini Singh. So Kamini, I request if you can answer this question.
हेलो, am I audible?
Yes, Kamini.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, जैसे मैंने अपना वो एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करा ना माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स के साथ, सो ये काफ़ी स्टेट्स में है। ये डिपेंड करता है कि वो किस कम्युनिटी से बिलोंग करते हैं, ये बहुत ही बड़ा फैक्टर प्ले करता है जो मैंने एक्सपीरियंस करा है। लाइक सिमिलर एक्सपीरियंसेस मेरे उत्तराखंड में रहे हैं, उड़ीसा में रहे हैं, झारखंड, बिहार में रहे हैं। सो माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स को तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा ये इफेक्ट करता ही है, बट उसमें भी ये कोई पर्टिकुलर कम्युनिटी के लोगों को एंड स्पेशली वुमेन को काफ़ी ज़्यादा इफेक्ट करता है। जैसे मैंने बताया अभी पानी की समस्या को लेकर मैंने बताया, वैसी वैसी काफ़ी चीज़ें हैं। मतलब जिस तरह से ये माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स को काफ़ी ज़्यादा इफेक्ट करता है। एक तो वो अपनी ज़मीन, अपना घर सारा कुछ छोड़ कर आते हैं, इनके पास कोई गवर्नमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स होते नहीं हैं। सो गवर्नमेंट के बेनिफिट्स मिल नहीं पाते, एक्सेस नहीं होता, इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं होती है, इन्हें नॉलेज नहीं होता है। इस रीजन से काफी इन्हें टाइम लगता है। ऑलमोस्ट लाइक रायगढ़ में मैंने देखा, उड़ीसा में माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स सेम स्टेट से, दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट से जो माइग्रेट कर कर आए हैं, जो इन माइग्रेशन हुआ है रायगढ़ में, सो 10 years लग गए हैं उन्हें यहाँ की सिचुएशन के अकॉर्डिंग एडजस्ट होने में। उनके बच्चों को स्कूल्स में एडमिशन नहीं मिलता था बिकॉज उनके पास प्रॉपर डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं होते थे।
Okay.
वो अभी भी 10 साल से वो यहाँ रह रहे हैं, स्टिल वो टेम्पररी शेल्टर्स बनाकर रहते हैं। पानी की प्रॉब्लम तो ये तो हर जगह के लिए कॉमन है। सो ये इस चीज को तो हम एक तरह से देख देख सकते हैं कि हर एक स्टेट में अलग अलग तरीके की डिफिकल्टीज आती है। कोस्टल एरियाज में अलग तरीके के प्रॉब्लम्स है, हिली रीजन्स में अलग तरीके के प्रॉब्लम्स है। सो ये मैं नेक्स्ट टॉक में डिफरेंट स्टेट्स का सिनारियो में एक्सप्लेन कर पाऊंगी।
Right. So that means you have inspired us to come up with another talk.
ओके,
Right.
या
Right. And before I go for the next question to Mr. Aditya Pundir, I would request all the participants to be here because towards the end, we'll take a group photograph and we'll request all the participants to switch on their videos. Right. So the next question is for Mr. Aditya Pundir, our chief guest of the day. And the first question is from Ms. Jatinder Kaur Gaga, and she wants to know, is it possible that government should take initiative regarding climate? As such, they should add a practical subject like plantation and cleanliness. Mr. Aditya Pundi, this question is for you from Jatinder Kaur Gaga.
Thank you, Hitesh. Regarding the government's interventions, yes, governments is very worried, and the governments around the world are taking a lot of initiatives. Like a lot of opportunities are being created around these climate opportunities. As I said, that you are already having this the the clean energy drives, the policy drives which we are having. All these things are basically related to create jobs in the clean energy sector. And then again, regarding agriculture, like you see, our prime minister has been continuously stressing in each and every of his when he gives his talks to the country, he's been talking about drip irrigation. He's talking about new ways of doing agriculture where less and less fertilizer should be used, chemical fertilizer, and more of organic farming. So these all things the government is trying, number one. Number two, regarding the education part of it, yes, a new education policy has come now, and we are expecting that the government is going to prioritize how the climate is to be taught to the children in the coming times. And basically, we have to talk more about adaptation. Of course, we have to talk about the mitigation also, but main how to protect yourself, how to come out of it. These are the life skill lessons which the governments are definitely working on, and we are expecting that in future time it will be coming out. Then I would like to also inform you that United Nations, UNESCO, is a global body where the UN, where it has been entasked that they have to talk about climate education globally as per the Paris Agreement. So therefore, UNESCO is also doing a lot of activities. They are coming out with a lot of ESD programs, well, as we call them, Environment and Sustainable Development Programs. They are coming out with them, and a lot of reports are coming. Various countries are being encouraged to incorporate it in their syllabuses and to have programs around it. Even our own Climate Reality Project, like you see, is doing a big program on teachers training around the country. So there's a lot of things happening, but as they say, climate change is such a big problem that even the governments try, nothing is going to happen until unless each and every one of us tries something on their own behalf. Everybody has to do something on their behalf. Like there's always a personal agenda to climate change, and then there is a global agenda to climate change. So where your personal agenda is concerned, like say wasting of food, if you can save the food, you are helping the climate change. If you plug your phone after you have charged your mobile phone, you switch it off, you're helping climate change. So saving electricity, saving food, and as Devender is doing this wonderful work, planting trees, these are the personal agendas which we have to take. If we take these, we are helping the government. And of course, government is also trying to do its bit.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Aditya Pundir. And the next question is for Ms. Rekha Lala. And Dr. Sheetal Gupta has this question for Ms. Rekha Lala. The question is, what is the best possible solution to climate change and global warming? Ms. Rekha Lala.
I think basically this is basically what we need is oxygen and plantation. I feel more and more plantation if we can do. If we don't have a place, at least we can do a terrace gardening. We can keep some pots. That is, I think, can mitigate the. And what we require now is more and more oxygen. And because of the cutting of forest, we have little land left for the this. So I think this is each one of us should do that plantation wherever we are. We should have a little bit of that and see the air pollution also rising levels is because of that, because you don't have that much of. So I think we need what we talk about, what we live on is water and air. We can't live without these two things, I think. So that is the need of the hour.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Rekha. And keeping in mind the time constraint, I think this would be the last question to Mr. Aditya Pundir. And the question is from Rachel Sri Sundar. So the question is, sir, the question is a bit lengthy. So I'll just read it out, and in case if you want me to repeat again, I'll repeat. So the question from Rachel is, currently we are going through climate transition and devastating changes in Arctic is taking place, which is resulting in rapid rise of temperature. How far India has committed to the National Action Plan on Climate Change, and has Paris Agreement given significant reduction in emission? So this is the question.
Okay, thank you. Yes, there are 3-4 questions, I think, mixed in this particular question. To start with the first question. See, the Arctic, because of Arctic or Antarctica melting, we are not having warming. It is the reverse. Because of the global climate change and the warming happening, the Antarctic and Arctic are melting. And yes, definitely, it's a very, very serious issue, and it might lead to sea level rise globally. So yes, and of course, countries like Bangladesh and our own Sundarbans, these are the places which are under threat today. So that is true. That's number one. Number two, you're talking about India's National Action Plan. Yes, India is working on it. India has committed in 2015 to reducing its emission by 33 to 35% to 35%, and also to plant about 2 billion trees, as well as to take all other actions which are required, whether in terms of water and all these things. So a very comprehensive emission reduction plan has been given by the government of India. And this is something I would like to say that, it's very surprising that we were always defending our position as Indians a few years back. But surprisingly, this new government which has taken over, they have come out with a very aggressive policy on climate change. And our Prime Minister has given a very ambitious target, but by 2030, there will be 450 gigawatts of clean energy, which is probably one of the top targets in the world today. So like from being a fighter in climate change and being at the bottom, suddenly India is now leading in terms of climate change. But then as a country, we have a lot of problems. Like we are a country where we have so much of poverty. We have so many people without electricity. So therefore, considering those challenges, we are not able to see that much of motion fast like the European countries. But yes, India is moving. India is working hard towards, because though it's not a good thing, but yes, India is one of the most threatened countries of climate change. Like if the climate change happens, India is one of those countries which will be the most impacted. So Indian government is very worried that how to come out of this mess. And lastly, about Paris Agreement, I think I've answered that question, that yes, we are working very aggressively on the Paris Agreement, and hoping that, I think India is one of the very few countries which has matched what it has done. And by 2020, of course, because of the pandemic, the meeting did not happen. So it's going to happen next year in Glasgow. So we are hoping that more ambition is being going shown by India as well as other countries also, because that is the only way probably to reduce emission, to move forward and capture carbon in the future for the planet.
So thank you so much, Mr. Aditya Pundir. And in fact, I'm thankful. We are thankful to you and the entire team of Climate Reality Project. Like in spite of the busy schedule, you all were able to make it and share your particular knowledge with everybody present here. With this, yeah.
Hitesh, can we take one small question from the audience, which was asked during?
Yes. Let's be quick and let's try to finish our program in next 5 minutes.
So this was a very small question from Miss Sujata Das. Basically, it was for Sheetal, but she has left. So probably I think Mr. Aditya can take that question. So while Sheetal was telling about teachers training program, so Miss Sujata wants to know how to join the program. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, definitely. You can write to us. You can, madam, if you are interested in this teachers training program, how it works, write to us, let us know, or you can even write to Hitesh ji, who is also a climate reality leader now. He will pass on the information to us, and we will send you all the relevant information. And you can also go to our website, yeah.
Fine. Thank you so much, Mr. Pundir.